Hi, good morning or evening. So I thought I would cover a little bit of what I've been doing with my trading, and I had a couple of people ask to put a video together. So this is my first attempt at a little video. So normally once a day I'll check the daily chart in the morning just to keep an overall track on institutional order flow. So we can see the EU, we've been bullish, bearish for some time. Of course, inside decent bullish movements. I've marked a nice supply zone on the daily chart, which will be important for our when we drop down to the 15-minute chart to have a look. And I do that, I mark supply and demand zones on the daily because they give me a reminder and indication for higher probability moves. Pop down to the 15 chart, which is mainly where I work, and we'll have a look at just an overview of the last couple of days. We had some good trades in this area here, some good wins, but we'll focus on this week and Friday. So this green zone you can see here is that daily supply zone. So I looked for an entry, but didn't find one. Didn't get my confirmation from the actual zone. Price dropped, and previously before the push into a deeper zone, I'd marked this demand zone, and this would be important. One of my observations is that failed demand zones often create a supply zone in a way, I guess you could call it, and price often reacts off that, even if not hugely, but it does react. So on Friday we had this trade, which was a pretty good trade. It was a total move of 9 RR. I took profit twice, and then you can see price retracted and stopped me out. I had another zone marked, this time a proper supply zone, and I don't have it noted in here, but I took 2 losses in here. You can see I got stopped out very closely here. This trade here, again on Friday, because I took those 2 L's, so I kind of forced my way into the market, which was a bad move in terms of following my rules and the psychology. I did justify it with a sweep of liquidity and then a drop, but I wasn't happy with it, although it was a win that replaced one of those L's. Price hit this nice supply zone and then reacted off it well. I didn't get an entry because that was my night. And then in the morning, this is now Monday morning, and for the purposes of this video, what I'll focus on is I got a nice confirmation of a liquidity grab, and then a confirmation I entered for a very tidy, I think it was a 20 RR banked, something like 80 pips, close to 80 pips. And you can see where I took profit, which is all quite logical based on structural points, liquidity points, and zones where I think price might react from. And then I exited it pretty well up at the top. I'll pop down to the 1 minute and we'll have a look at my entry confirmation. So on the 15-minute time frame, then this is a wick, and I don't consider a wick a break of structure. So this zone was still valid for me. I took that as the liquidity grab for all of this. So this was my sweep of this liquidity. Then we had a nice break of structure, which confirmed a change of direction, a change of character. And then as it entered into 50% basically of this M block, I took the order here. And then price ran nicely. Wasn't that quick, took a few hours to get there, but I don't mind waiting on slower moves like that. Price, like I said, I exited it. And normally if I have reached my target, which I smashed yesterday, I would not consider a re-entry. for that day. So I left it. Today we had a very similar move, and you can see I'm actually in this trade, although the trade details are off because it shows my finances. So we had a movement, and this time into this 5-minute demand zone. My expectation overall after this huge drop after news was this had to be corrected and price will continue bullish. So that was my expectation coming into today. So this morning I'd marked this zone, 5-minute zone, and price came into my zone. I was watching it here. I didn't like that. That was all liquidity for me. I was waiting for this liquidity sweep here. And then today, for the first time, I did the same kind of confirmation, but I did it. I wanted to try to improve my IR ratio, so I did it on the 15 second. I waited for confirmation on the 15 second using my principles of liquidity sweep, followed by a break of structure and then an entry. So let me just get to that. Sorry. So you can see, as I said, all this liquidity was swept by this down move. I considered then, again, I used a failed demand zone. So price pushed through my demand zone, a supply zone, sorry, and then retraced and I entered just on the touch of this. I did a market entry. You can see this price for me. This is a valid entry on my system. It's not something a lot of people talk about, but I'm finding that they hold a lot. So I took an entry after the liquidity sweep, break of structure, took the entry, and the trade is off and away. So overall, I don't keep too much mind on the charts. I have an overall idea and an opinion of my bias, where things are going to go on a given day based on the daily chart. And I check that and I adjust my day's highs and lows every day. You can see I mark it here. And then really I just look for valid entries on a 15-minute supply or demand zone. If I get my confirmation, which is the main thing obviously for me, then I'll enter the trade. And if I win, I win. If I lose, I lose. So that was a long-winded video. I wasn't planning for this long, but I hope it makes some sense. And thank you.